Do you want to know something? Being a Christian is hard. First, you have to believe in the otherwise unbelievable, such as talking animals, 900-year-old humans, and stars that completely defy the laws of physics. And secondly, you have to practice sacred rituals, such as consuming the flesh and blood of a god, being baptized in the blood of a god, and giving money to a god. But those are the easy parts. The hard part of being a Christian is this next step, the third step, which is this. You have to actually be a decent human being, at least for the most part. The New Testament doesn't cover everything, but it does contain many commandments such as this. Be harmless, be merciful, be patient towards everyone, love your enemies, bless those that curse you, and do good to those that hate you. Be tender-hearted and forgiving to one another, obey the law of your land, those who have plenty should give it to the poor, and treat others the way you wish to be treated. The New Testament also condemns things such as gossip, slander, dishonesty, drunkenness, violence, judging others, anger, hurtful language, materialism, adultery, hypocrisy, practicing your religion in a boisterous and sensational way that brings attention to yourself, and the list goes on. So of course now it should be rather obvious to everyone why being a Christian is so doggone hard. You can't just listen to the newsboys and go to church and wear your Jesus merchandise and slap that bumper sticker on your minivan. You also have to be selfless and empathetic and respectable and stuff. Or do you? Believing in the Christian theology is comforting, and practicing the Christian rituals is socially beneficial. But following all of the Christian rules and moral commandments is extremely inconvenient. So wouldn't it be sweet if you could do all of the Christian stuff that benefits you without having to worry about all of those pesky morals and guidelines? Wouldn't it be nice if you could be a Christian and get away with sin? Well, you can, and here's how. Fortunately, there are plenty of ways to get away with sin, and today I'm going to share with you the 3 methods that I find most effective. You may find that different methods are more effective in different circumstances or with different sins, and you may even find that one of these methods better suits that facade that you wear to church and around your Christian peers better than the others. It's all a case-by-case basis, but nonetheless, these 3 methods are extremely effective. The first method is what I like to call the appeal to human fallibility. This is basically the catch-all method. Let's say, for example, you got blackout drunk one night, or maybe you've told a string of lies to a group of people, or maybe you pulled a gun out and threatened to shoot somebody. It doesn't matter what the sin is, it could be anything, and all you have to do is whip out the appeal to human fallibility card. And it's very simple. It works like this. If somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, what you did was wrong. That was a sin." All you have to do is say, "Hey, look, man, we're all sinners. We all sin. We all do sinful stuff. Yeah, man." Or maybe something like, "Yeah, nobody's perfect except for Jesus." Or maybe something like, "We're all fallible, messed up humans. We all do bad stuff." Or you could even quote Romans 3:23, "For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God." Just as long as you remind people that nobody is perfect, that's all that matters. With the appeal to human fallibility method, you can pretty much get away with any sin, but I would only recommend it for general use. If you want to get away with a sin that's bigger, or you want to get away with practicing a sin in a more frequent basis, or maybe you want to sin and not have to apologize for it ever, I would suggest using one of these next 2 methods. The second method is what I'm calling the appeal to Jesus' sacrifice, or the appeal to God's mercy. I find this to be the most popular method among Christians, most likely because it can be used in all of the circumstances that the appeal to human fallibility is used, but with the added benefit of never having to explicitly refer to yourself as sinful or fallible. And plus you get those Jesus points. The way that the appeal to Jesus' sacrifice and God's mercy method works is very simple, just like all of these methods. And it can be used in about any sinful circumstance that you get yourself into. Let's say that you spread a hurtful rumor about somebody, or maybe you bullied someone, you called them a lot of terrible names, you said a lot of hurtful stuff to them, you just downright degraded them. Or maybe somebody disagreed with your worldview, so you told them they were idiotic and evil, and that if you ever caught them out in public, you'd beat the crap out of them and maybe even kill them. It doesn't matter what sin you've committed or who you've hurt or how bad you've hurt them. All you have to do is appeal to Jesus' sacrifice or God's mercy. It works like this. If someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, what you did was a sin and it hurt me," or maybe they say, "Hey, what you did, it really hurt this other person. You should go apologize and make things right with them." All you have to do is respond with one of these statements.
That's why I'm thankful for Jesus' sacrifice. His blood washes away all sins. That's why I'm thankful for God's mercy. He forgives us of all our trespasses.
Or maybe something more along the lines of,
I already asked God for his forgiveness.
Or,
I don't need man's forgiveness. I got God's forgiveness.
The incredible part of this method is that you never have to apologize to anyone. You never have to admit that you were wrong or that what you did hurt anyone. You can hurt as many people as you like and cause as many problems as you want and never have to worry about fixing the mistakes you made or healing the harm that you've caused. There's no need to apologize to anyone when you've already apologized or claimed to have apologized to God. And no matter how big of a sin you've committed or how badly you've hurt anyone or the number of people you've hurt, as long as you remind people that Jesus' blood washes away all sins and that God has already forgiven you, that's all that matters. This last method is what I call the appeal to Satan, or the appeal to my demons. It's very similar to the appeal to human fallibility, but it takes it a step further. It can be used in any sinful circumstance, but I would recommend using it sparsely. If you use it too much, you might start to look crazy. But if you reserve it for only your favorite sins, or for special occasions, it will be all the more effective. This is why you'll hear this method used frequently by addicts or by culprits of terrible atrocities, or even by casual Christians when confronted about their bad habits or that big bad thing they did that one time. The reason for this is because that's the prime time to play this card. If you're addicted to alcohol, if you resort to anger, rage, and violence when things don't go your way, if you cheated on your husband, if you beat your wife, or if you cheat on your wife every time you go out of town for a business trip, no matter what the sin is, as long as it's something you have a history of doing or have turned into a habit, or if it's that one really big bad thing you did once or twice or, then that's the perfect time to appeal to Satan or appeal to your demons. It works like this. If someone confronts you about your bad habits, whether it's your alcoholism or your anger issues or whatever it happens to be, all you have to do is say something along these lines. Hey, we all have our demons. We all have our weaknesses. This is just the one that I happen to struggle with. Or if someone confronts you about that really big bad thing you did that one time, whether it's when you cheated on your husband or when you held a gun on someone and threatened to shoot them, whatever it happened to be, all you have to do is say something along these lines. I was blinded by sin at the moment, or I was caught up in the heat of the moment, or perhaps even the devil tempted me and I gave in under the pressure. You see, the great thing about blaming Satan or blaming your personal demons is that you get to be the victim and not the people that your poor life choices are hurting. Because you're not the bad guy, you're just the poor little human that's being pressured into doing bad things by powerful evil forces. And because of that, people shouldn't hold you accountable for your actions. They should feel sorry for you instead of the people that you are hurting. And perhaps even better than getting to be the victim is the fact that when you appeal to demons, you also never have to fix your bad habits or character flaws. If you get irrationally angry every time someone offends you or questions you or disagrees with you or calls you out for doing something bad or wrong, if you start yelling and screaming and throwing stuff and hitting stuff and threatening violence and calling names and degrading and telling someone you want to kill them just to let them know that you're mad, and just because you're mad you're going to say and do everything, you have anger problems. But the thing is, you absolutely can and absolutely should fix that. But if you don't want to fix it, all you have to do is blame it on your personal demons. And every time you blow up again and again and again and again for the rest of your life, you can always blame it on your demons. It's just something you struggle with, and you never have to do anything about it. As long as you remind people that we all have our own demons and that sometimes the devil is so powerful that it's hard to resist him, that's all you have to do. So yeah, those are 3 easy methods that any Christian can employ on the daily and live their life with the social and financial benefits of Christianity, but without all of those pesky moral guidelines. There's no need to be selfless or empathetic or responsible, and there's no reason to apologize when you've hurt someone or admit when you've done something wrong. And there is definitely no need to quit your bad habits or quit doing whatever you want when you want. And the best part about it is that not only can you sin as much as you want to and still be a Christian, but you can even use your horrific and plentiful sin to gain the attention and the admiration of all of your Christian and church peers. You can literally stand in front of a church and talk about how fallible and sinful you are and how you battle with your demons every day, and you don't usually win. You can talk about the most horrific and despicable things you've ever done and still do, and then tell everyone that no matter who you are or what you've done or what demons you face every day or what you will do in the future, that Jesus' blood washes away all sins. And then the entire church will stand up and cheer, not because they're inspired to be better, but because they think they don't have to be. And that's all that I've got for today. Maybe next week we will talk about why atheists don't believe in God because they don't want any moral accountability.